They didn't tell you the truth. From the moment you opened your eyes to this world, they fed you a narrative laced with poison, not with fangs, not with fire, but with soft smiles and noble words. They packaged your cage in morality, stitched your chains into bedtime stories, and disguised your obedience as virtue. You were taught to give, to serve, to put others before yourself, not because it made you stronger, but because it made you easier to use. They said, good people are selfless. They told you love requires sacrifice, that strength lies in surrender, that to be worthy you must place yourself last. But hidden beneath those sacred lines was a calculated design to keep you docile, dependent, digestible. Because the truth is sharp, it doesn't comfort. And most people can't look it in the eye. The truth is this: selfishness is power. The world does not elevate martyrs. It buries them, it forgets them. It celebrates those who took what they wanted, who rose unapologetically, who prioritized themselves without asking permission. The powerful never apologize for choosing themselves. They don't explain. They don't negotiate. While you were taught to give until you had nothing left, they were learning how to drink from people like you, those who confuse exhaustion with honor. Every time you handed over your time, your energy, your loyalty to people who wouldn't blink before abandoning you, you paid a price. Every time you ignored your instincts, said yes while your soul screamed no, you snapped pieces off yourself to keep parasites warm. That guilt they bred into your conscience, it's not kindness, it's a leash. You've been dragging it behind you for years, but there comes a moment, a breaking point, cold, quiet, unforgiving, when you realize being good is a costume, and you're not here to wear masks anymore. You're here to dominate, and domination requires selfishness, not recklessness, not cruelty, but precision, strategy, a ruthless dedication to your own rise. Because no one is coming to build your empire for you. It's your hands or nothing. You either serve your vision or you become fuel for someone else's. This is the defining line and the most dangerous prison. The one you can't see, the one they taught you to love, the one where selflessness is painted as sainthood. From your first breath, they taught you that to be valuable, you had to vanish, to give without asking, to carry burdens that never belonged to you, to offer every ounce of yourself and wait patiently for a world that never returns the favor. It never will. This world doesn't repay kindness. It exploits it. It eats the gentle and worships the ruthless. And here's the truth: that entire narrative of selflessness wasn't meant to lift you. It was crafted to keep you from rising, to neutralize you. If you're busy sacrificing yourself for everyone else, you'll never have the time or strength to build anything of your own. Selflessness is a tool, a beautiful, elegant lie, used by the powerful to keep the useful in line. And when you give too much, they don't thank you, they expect it. The more available you are, the less you're seen. The more you give, the less they value. Your sacrifice becomes invisible. Respect doesn't come from how much you offer. It comes from how selectively you choose to give, from your restraint, from your standards. Loyalty is not earned through endless self-sacrifice. It's earned through scarcity, through being rare, through being a person who chooses when to show up and why. Because here's the brutal truth: the ones who give without limits are always the first to be abandoned when the storm hits. No one reaches for the selfless when the knives come out. They reach for the strong, and the strong don't bleed for everyone. Every empire ever built was carved by the selfish, not the heartless, the focused, the calculating, the ones who placed their mission above sentiment, above comfort, above approval. They didn't hate the world. They simply refused to betray themselves for it. They understood that energy is currency, and they spent it where it multiplied. While you were patching other people's chaos, they were laying bricks. While you were making sure everyone was okay, they were making sure they got paid. While you were being loyal to people who saw you as a tool, they were building thrones. The powerful don't feel guilt for choosing themselves. They feel guilt when they waste time on people who don't matter. So ask yourself, when was the last time being selfless made you powerful? When did saying yes, out of guilt, bring you closer to your dream? How many times have you shrunk to make someone else feel tall? And what did it earn you? Resentment, abandonment, exhaustion. They still left. They still forgot you. They still used you. And here is the truth. No one wants to say, no one respects the one who gives everything. They respect the one who could give everything, but doesn't. That is power. Power is not found in obedience. It's born in control. It's forged in restraint. They want you to believe selfishness is evil, that choosing yourself makes you a monster. But that fear they plant in you, it's just another leash. Because the real monsters are the ones who drain you dry and call it love. The ones who demand your loyalty but offer none. The ones who expect your silence, your service, your strength, but never return it. They fear your selfishness, because once you choose yourself, you stop feeding their illusion. You stop being a servant. You become a threat. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Appearance outweighs intent. Power respects power. It does not respond to desperation, and it never bows to those who give without measure. A man who hands out too much is seen as weak, not generous, desperate, not noble. But a man who gives with control, on his own terms, becomes magnetic, respected, followed. He becomes a leader not because he bends, but because he stands firm. Here's the paradox. The less you give, the more they crave it. The more you say no, the more your yes becomes sacred. You owe nothing to those who didn't build with you. You owe no time to those who treat it like it's worthless. You owe no loyalty to anyone who sees you as a tool instead of a force. If you want to be powerful, stop explaining. Stop apologizing. Time, focus, energy. These are blood, and in the world of power, every drop must be measured. Every time you give them away without strategy, you bleed for free. And that is suicide in the realm of kings. The powerful guard their resources like tyrants, not out of fear, but clarity. Every yes costs something. Every moment spent pleasing someone irrelevant is a moment stolen from building your legacy. You think generosity makes you loved. It doesn't. It makes you common. It makes you expected, and expectation kills respect. The more available you are, the less you're valued. The more people know you'll show up, the more they stop noticing you're there, until you're gone. Then suddenly, they panic. Why? Because deep down, they were feeding off you. They just hoped you'd never realize it. The selfish don't waste time explaining. They don't argue. They don't beg. They cut quietly, precisely. Without warning, they remove distractions the way a surgeon removes cancer. No flinching, no second chances, because the only thing worse than wasting your own energy is letting someone else waste it for you. And make no mistake, most people don't care how drained you are. They'll take until there's nothing left. As long as you keep showing up, they'll keep feeding. They'll call it love. They'll call it loyalty. But in truth, it's exploitation wrapped in sentiment. Power begins when you stop apologizing for pulling the plug. Ask yourself, who's draining you? What's distracting you? Where is your attention going that doesn't come back multiplied? Because here's the brutal rule of power. Nothing is free. Not your time, not your advice, not your presence. Every minute is either an investment or a loss. Every person is either an asset or a liability. And you don't owe anyone a warning before you cut them off. Let silence be your answer. Let absence be your revenge. Let growth be your last word. The world respects what it can't easily reach. They follow the ones who withhold, not the ones who chase. They don't admire the agreeable. They follow the assertive. Look at every legend, every feared figure, every leader who changed the game. None of them were defined by how often they said yes. They were defined by how precisely they said no. You want to know why most people stay invisible? Because they've been taught to trade power for peace, to trade respect for approval, to trade truth for likability. They were taught that being quiet keeps them safe, that being agreeable makes them kind, that being selfless makes them virtuous. But it doesn't. It makes them weak. It makes them forgettable. It makes them easy to step on, easy to ignore, easy to replace. So stop trying to be liked. Stop begging to be understood. Stop explaining your decisions to people who would never do the same for you. Because every second you waste justifying your standards is a second stolen from your rise. Say no, not with guilt, not with an apology, but with finality. No is a complete sentence. No doesn't require context. No doesn't need softness to be valid. You are not required to make others comfortable with your boundaries. You are not here to be digestible. You are here to be undeniable. If you want to rise, you must learn to cut ruthlessly. Anything that distracts you, anything that drains more than it gives, anything that dilutes your strength. Every ounce of your energy matters. Delay in mastering this will keep you average. Delay in saying no will trap you in obligation. Delay in setting hard boundaries will keep your life in chains, decorated maybe, but still chains. You cannot ascend while you're weighed down by the dead weight of other people's expectations. You cannot lead when your time is not your own. You cannot dominate when you're still addicted to being liked. You want power, then earn it with focus, with selectivity, with an unshakable commitment to yourself. You will never be respected if you can't enforce distance. You will never be seen as rare if you're always reachable. You will never build something monumental with your hands tied by the demands of those who offer nothing in return. The first rule of domination: say no, firmly, without fear. The second rule: don't explain it. No one needs to understand your boundaries. They only need to feel them. Because here's the secret. The moment you stop feeling bad for putting yourself first, you become dangerous. You become clear, while others drown in emotional debts. You stay afloat, while they run in circles trying to please everyone. You move straight toward your next conquest. In the economy of power, nothing is free. Not your time, not your energy, not your loyalty. Everything has a price. And when you give anything away without extracting value, you declare yourself cheap. And that's how they'll treat you. The world doesn't honor the overly generous. It uses them, because generosity, without control, that's just weakness, dressed up in virtue. You think you're helping, but you're just training people to expect more of you for less. And once they expect you for nothing, they will never respect you. you'll become their free sample, tasted, tossed, forgotten. This is the truth they never teach you. When you give too easily, people stop seeing it as a gift. They see it as normal, as owed. And the moment you stop, they act betrayed. But that betrayal, that's your proof. They weren't loyal to you. They were loyal to what they got from you. They were never clinging to you. They were clinging to the benefit. And when that benefit disappears, so do they. Their gratitude fades. Their praise turns to guilt. Their smiles turn to blame. And now you see clearly, they weren't friends. They weren't family. They were users. Emotional thieves in disguise. So what do? Raise the price. Make your time expensive. Make your attention scarce. Make your approval earned. Power is built on rarity. When your presence is predictable, your value evaporates. When your support is guaranteed, your leverage dies. You stop being an asset. You become background noise, and the powerful are never background. They are the standard, the center of gravity. Their yes shifts momentum. Their no closes doors. Their attention shapes the room. And it's because they trained the world. I am not free. I am not easy to reach. What I give has weight, because I choose when to give it. That's not arrogance. That's strategy. And if someone refuses to meet your standards, let them walk. The ones who resent your boundaries were only ever there to extract. They weren't loyal to your vision. They were addicted to your access. Let them say you've changed. Let them call you cold. Those are the cries of those who have been cut off. And you owe them nothing but your silence.
You owe them no response. What you owe is to yourself. Peace, progress, power, and you will never have those if your life is a free buffet for the unworthy. So here is the law. Never give anything for free. Not your time, not your presence, not your effort, not your guidance. Everything must have a cost. Maybe it's respect, maybe it's consistency, maybe it's discipline, but they must pay. They must earn your energy with attention, with results, with elevation. If they don't, cut the line. You are not the emotional dumping ground of the world. You are not the unpaid mentor. You are not the tireless rescuer for chaos addicts. You are a fortress, a force, a high-value resource. And the truly selfish understand this. They don't pour into every cup. They don't explain every silence. They don't bend to every cry. They give nothing unless something greater comes back. You were raised to believe giving makes you good. That to be kind you must be endlessly available. That saying no makes you selfish. But listen carefully. A good human is not the same as a powerful one. And this world doesn't bow to the kindest. It bows to the strongest. The man who wins isn't the one with the softest heart. It's the one who knows exactly when to harden it. Every act of selflessness must be calculated. Never compulsive, because unchecked selflessness leads only to one end. Slavery. You'll serve, you'll bend, you'll drain, and still they'll ask for more. And when you finally collapse from exhaustion, they will not lift you. They will step over you. This world has no mercy for those who burn for it. It only salutes those who learn to command it. Look around, the rich, the feared, the respected. They are not selfless. They may market kindness, but beneath the surface lies steel, cold, sharp, calculated. They didn't get to the top by saying yes to everyone. They didn't spend their time explaining decisions to people who never helped them build. They preserved themselves like weapons, drawn only when the battle mattered. That's power, to be needed more than you need. To be the sun, not a wandering satellite. To be the one who pulls gravity,
not the one begging to belong. Why do most people stay invisible? Because they were trained to trade power for acceptance, taught that being liked was more important than being respected, taught that saying yes would win love, when all it does is invite use. They silence their truth for peace, shrink their greatness for comfort, and call it virtue. But it's not, it's voluntary weakness, and power despises the weak. So be selfish. Wake up thinking about you, your goals, your fire, your edge. Stop apologizing for protecting your energy. Stop explaining your boundaries. Stop defending your standards. You do not owe anyone your dismantling just to prove your loyalty. You do not owe anyone your light just because they live in the dark. If they want access to your presence, they must rise to meet you. If they can't, leave them behind. That's not cruelty, that's evolution. Selfishness doesn't mean harming others. It means refusing to harm yourself for them. It means cutting emotional leeches loose without guilt. It means staying aligned to your mission, no matter who it offends. It means discarding everything that dilutes your momentum. No guilt, no negotiation, no mourning. You are not here to save the world. You are here to become unforgettable, not by pleasing, but by cutting. Because power is never handed to the polite. It is taken by the cold. You will lose people. You will be misunderstood. You will be hated. And that's how you know you're doing it right. When people can no longer bend your emotions, they start questioning your morality. They'll call you heartless, cold, detached. Let them. That noise is not truth. It's frustration. It's the panic of losing control over you. Because real power begins the moment they stop assuming they own pieces of you. When they stop treating your time like a public service. When they hesitate before asking. Because now they know. You might say no. You might not answer. You might choose you. This world doesn't worship the agreeable. It worships the unshakable. People don't follow the ones who say yes to everything. They follow the ones who make them earn a yes. Look at every great leader, every feared icon, every unrelenting force of nature. They weren't loved for their generosity. They were respected for their scarcity, for their standards, for the fact that their time, their presence, their energy meant something. That kind of respect is not earned by saying yes. It is earned by weaponizing your no. Look around. The ones who rise are the ones who refuse to bend. The ones who get crushed are the ones begging to be liked. When you're afraid to say no, you're handing out the steering wheel of your life to everyone else. You're building someone else's dream while abandoning your own. Worse, you're training people to see your boundaries as flexible, your time as negotiable, your priorities as expendable. And once they learn that, they'll never stop testing how much of you they can take, until there's nothing left. So say no, not gently, not defensively, but with clarity, with finality. A cold, clean, unwavering no. No is a complete sentence. No needs no cushion, no smile, no excuse. You are not here to make everyone feel okay. You are here to become undeniable. And that means cutting ruthlessly anything that weakens your power, any person, any habit, any obligation that pulls you from your domination. The longer you hesitate, the longer you remain average. The longer you explain, the longer you stay in chains. You cannot become powerful if you're addicted to being understood. You cannot build an empire if your hands are full of other people's demands. The first step to power is saying no. The second is saying nothing after. And here's the hidden truth. The moment you stop feeling bad for choosing yourself,
you become dangerous. You rise, while others drown in emotional obligation. You walk clean, clear, focused, relentless. In the world of power, nothing is free. Not your presence, not your loyalty, not your attention. Everything has a cost. And the second you give something, without demanding value in return, you declare yourself cheap. And that's how they'll treat you. The world does not reward the generous. It uses them, because generosity, without limits, is just weakness in disguise. You think you're helping, but what you're really doing is training people to expect you for nothing. And once they expect you for nothing, they'll never see you as valuable again. You'll become a fixture, a background actor in your own story, a resource to be drained and discarded. This is the truth they never taught you. When you give too much, they stop being grateful. They start being entitled. And the moment you pull back, they'll call you selfish, cold, changed. That's when you'll know they were never loyal to you. They were loyal to the benefits of you. Strip those away, and the mask cracks. So raise your value, make your time expensive, make your energy cost something, make your loyalty come with a price. The powerful never give freely. They give strategically. They don't mentor the unready. They don't stay where they aren't growing. They don't explain their silence to those who never earned their words. And when someone refuses to pay the price, they let them go. Let them call you arrogant. Let them say you've changed. Those are just the cries of the denied. You don't owe them answers. You owe yourself evolution. Because this is not cruelty. This is survival. You weren't born to be the therapist for the emotionally unaccountable. You weren't put here to be the emotional crutch for those who refuse to stand. You're here to build, to conquer, to become something unforgettable. That doesn't happen by bending. It happens by cutting. So protect your energy like a tyrant. Preserve your time like gold. Give nothing unless something greater comes back. And never forget, this world does not obey the kindest. It kneels to the clearest. So be clear, be sharp, be rare, be selfish, ruthlessly, strategically, unapologetically, and watch the world finally treat you like the threat you were born to be.